It's going to be a good week for them.
This week.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a good week for them to do, like, Gfinity and things like that. But anyway, let's hop into our game here. So here we go. Lose Much Rating taking on Team Solid. Semi-final matchup. Playing for a spot in the grand finals of this tournament. So we're going to see how they fare. Hey, it's Mr. Meeseeks. Look at him.
I also stand corrected. Tree is no longer a part of Gold Rush.
Okay. So,
I received that from the source of the team.
well, there you go. So, I don't know who the third is. Either way, it should be interesting to see. I guess the reason I was going over all those teams, really my point was just being that the 8 teams that have made it this far are going to have a difficult time going any further than that. Westworld up.
Hello there, Team Solid. It's good to see you have joined us here today.
Coming out of the gate swinging, so a nice little twirling shot there.
And that was a shot that Lose Much Rating was scoring a ton of last game, where they just sort of baited their opponents into overcommitting. Long shot, and then just following it. So, I think we might see a clash of styles here.
Very well could. So, I mean, we'll see. Again, it's a game 1 situation. Whatever we see here could carry over into the next one, or just could be nothing. Who really knows?
We'll find out.
We definitely will. So, another play forward. Good setup for Mr. Meeseeks, but doesn't happen. Now Ash trying to clear it out. Good redirect there by Hank, but it's not enough to put actually in on net. Hank is going to clear it off to the center to try and stick it in the orange zone, keep it there, but well, again, it's nicely cleared out. So a little bit of back and forth at this point, despite that early goal. I think right now the biggest thing is LMR is just trying to get some chances. You know, Team Solid has had a few solid chances on net, but LMR has not really been able to find it quite yet.
No, it's LMR. They start quite slow though. If that last series was anything to go off, they'll play quite slow, and then they're just going to really take it next game. It'd be better if they could do it now.
Oh, sure. You know, the quicker the better, of course. But you know, I don't think we know for sure what sort of team or what sort of matchup we're going to have at least until the next game. But as we're talking about this, some good chances are coming together for Team Solid. Mr. Meeseeks making a good save for his own team, or against his own team, I should say. Another play forward here. Good shot in net, and Data gets a lovely little goal.
That's the risk of what Lose Much Rating are trying to do here. They are leaving Hank up towards the orange side of the field just so they can try and launch the ball at him and then see what he can do with it. Issue of that is you're now missing a defender. So if they're going to go for that strategy, they really need to be confident that they can at least get the ball past and, you know, defend against this Team Solid style play.
Yeah, they're going to need to get it together.
Yeah, they need to.
Right now.
I mean, I agree with the attempt at it, but let's sort out the foundations before you start going for leaving a player up.
Right. Oh.
I mean, they're still doing it. Hank's still sat up there. Well, what's really the point if you can't get the ball to him? All right, he's come back now, which I agree with.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a decent attempt at something, and maybe they just feel confident enough to try something different in game 1, knowing that they have that cushion. But Data with another nice play. This one was a very nice shot on net. Let's watch this happen again. Data's going to play this forward. It's going to come off of a little bit of a clash there in midair. But there's your big finish. And that's really all it takes. So 3-0.
Yeah, it's been a solid showing from teams. Oh, I just did that unintentionally, didn't I? Team Solid have a solid showing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that and then just bury my head in shame.
That's okay. It's like what happens when you try casting for Team Not. Not as a word, and I try to use the word not in other ways, but...
I still stick by what I said last week of we should have a team called Team Like. Try dealing with that one, Shellfish.
Yeah, that'll be great. Oh, big pinch there.
Speaking of things that can't be dealt with.
Yeah, everybody. I don't even know if they got past the halfway mark on this one. Pinched all the way downfield. There's just no stopping it. So a big distance shot. And there you go. 4-0 with a minute to go. It's pretty much going to be very securely for Team Solid here. But again, it is just the first game of this series. And hey, I'm Mr. E6. Look at me.
I mean, we saw it in the last series of a lose much rating coming in quite well into the second and third games, but then again, last time they didn't lose by 5. So this is the step up we were talking about.
It is tilted, and this is kind of the reason I think that we play these additional games, despite the fact that the teams have already qualified. We know that they're going in. We play these final games. Well, good shot by Bounty, but anyway, we play these final games not just because, you know, we're doing it for pride, but it does give us a good indication of the discrepancy with the final 8 teams.
Seeding.
Yeah, I mean, the seeding is good too, but it helps us really understand, like, okay, we've got these 8 teams, but just like the 8 teams that have already qualified, they're not the same.
Yeah, I mean, this was the thing that we went through with NA yesterday, is we know who the top 10 teams are, but the mid-tier has not really been explored properly. It's always been a guess. This is a tournament literally only for those teams. So we get to see who really is there.
And like I say, it's just a good way to figure out the difference in those teams. Like, if you look at the top 8 that have already qualified, like not out of this tournament, but the pre-qualified teams, you know, there's a split between the teams at the top of that list, like Noble and Crown and Jewel and stuff like that, and the teams like Team Rocket and Gold Rush and stuff like that, who are nearer to the middle or bottom of that list. And, you know, where is that separation with the new 8 teams? And I think that's what the rest of this tournament's going to help us figure out. So we know what teams are better. We know, okay, is LMR better than Shift Play? Is Team Solid better than LMR? You know? So that's kind of that little stagger there. And of course, you know, like you said earlier, the seeding is good too. So we know exactly where they play.
I mean, we're not going to say you're ever going to be guaranteed an easy first match, but we can make it easier.
Right. You know?
And by easy, we mean you're still facing at least a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, you're going to have to deal with a very difficult team right off the bat when you start things off here. But at least this tournament serves as a good bit of warm-up against some serious competition. And Ash, beautiful goal there, opens up the scoring for Lose More rating. Look at this play forward by Hank. Ash was moving backwards that whole time. Just backing his way into position, and then he just flips it in. Really nice looking goal there. So early, right on point, and just solid stuff. So
we've seen this once from Lose Much rating. Are we about to see it again, though? If they do it again, if they actually come into this game and produce a solid, convincing win, I'm going to become a believer and just start writing off every single one of their first games. But they've got to do that work first.
They do, and you know, they certainly wouldn't be the first team who treats Game 1 like an experimental or test run or just whatever. There's a certain team that has done that for as long as I've known them, and that's Flipside Tactics.
Flip who?
You know. Oh, but there! Beautiful collective play forward. Data's going to get credit for the goal, but that was a lot of effort by Team Solid there to put that shot in on net.
Wow, that is an unbelievable shot by Data as well. I think he was coming in, like, just driving out of the goal as he went for that shot. That means he got a negative angle. Those are, like, you only have, and I'm going to start talking in actual game mechanics, that you only have, like, 2 to 3 in-game frames. If you're playing at 60 FPS, you have about 2 to 3 frames before that ball is unscorable. So that is seriously impressive from him. Yeah,
just a lot of awareness, and you know, a lot of that skill that comes from playing the game a lot. To just figure out, like, understanding physics and angles. Yeah, big stop there by Westworld and Hank following up.
See, here's the thing when it comes to this game. You can get that first save, but you need someone else there to cover you. Usually say that you've got about 3 saves maximum, and that's if each of you get a save before you are completely out boosted and completely exposed. That one only took 1.
It did. Well, on the other side of the bracket, we know who is going into who's in the other semifinal game now. So whoever wins this series will take on the winner of In Extremis RL, who took out Orcs RL. And they are taking on Comrade Gaming in the other semifinal match. So that is all set. So the winner of that series will take on the winner of this series in the final. And that will wrap up this tournament. So we'll get a good impression of how these teams are, at least against each other. And maybe even a bit of an idea of how they can fare against some of the other teams that they're going to be dealing with next Sunday.
Both these teams are very convincing so far. Very strong play. Just a little bit tightening up needed on the side of lose much rating. But once again, really showing up in the second game.
They are. Nice shot there. Gets denied, however. But good shot on net, and it's definitely reached a point where the whole thing is starting to go a little more back and forth, just overall.
Lose much rating have done really well ever since they abandoned this one-player set-up top idea. Just a strategy I don't think they can pull off.
Probably not, but you know, again, I think that's what the game ones can be useful for a lot of these teams, is to play with different strategies when there's not a huge amount on the line, you know? So they can take that risk knowing that, hey, if we lose this game, it's okay. You know, we lost the game because we were trying something a little different, and it didn't work. So let's go back to what got us here, and that'll at least get us the win. So, it's a good opportunity to be experimental in an actual tournament. Wow, I can't believe that went in.
Okay, I think that might be an example of just leaving a player up there working.
That literally, I mean, it wasn't even Ash involvement. He was there, but he had nothing to do with it. It just went.
That just felt backflip, man.
Yeah, he just punted that thing the entire length of the field, and it went in. That is, yeah, I was a little surprised there because it beat 2 defenders as well. But hey, you know, whatever. So 3-1. There is your score so far, and it's looking pretty good for a lose more rating here in Game 2. They've fallen back to what has worked for them. Another shot there, trying to set up Bounty, who can't quite get there in time. Let's see, Ash is going to come in. He's not able to do anything about that. So just going to get cleared out. Good opportunity here for Team Solid and Mr. Meeseeks. Oops, it's going to be, there we go. All right, Mr. Meeseeks. Let's take a look at this. Gets a good bit of contact there, beats the defender, puts it away. 3-2, so the scoreline almost a draw yet again.
And this is a lot more of representation of how this series is really going to go. Lose much rating, back to their normal style, yet they're struggling still. This game is far from over for them. So I reckon this could be a lot closer than the last series was, where we saw them sort of just run away with it towards the end.
I definitely think it will be. You're absolutely right. Just based off of how they've been playing so far and the challenge that they're starting to mount, I just really hope that we don't fall into a similar position where the team starts establishing their comeback too late. Or when the pressure's off, you know, like you said. So, hopefully that won't be the case here.
Oh, there's no one back. Get back, boys. Run faster.
Oh, they took way too long to react to that. But it could still work out here. Data with a nice play in and doesn't get the contact he needs. Mr. Meeseeks tried to play that in. Time is running out here. A few seconds left. Here comes the watermelon card. Tries to play it in. That is going to hit the bezel. No, it hit the ground. Oh. Never mind. So there you have it.
Just doesn't get played that game. You're letting me down, lads.
pretty good attempt at getting back in that game, but again, it was just a little too late. So I think what we've really learned is when you're taking on LMR, you gotta play the whole game to win it, and don't try to win the game in the last few seconds or minute or so.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just trying to sort out what might have been a technical issue on my half.
all right, well, we are tied up here, I believe, in this series. So
All right.
one game apiece to each of these teams
I'm sorted.
now.
I'm sorted.
LMR.
This is why we don't give me responsibility.
We tried